All right, and we are back. Finished up talking about Toni Storm versus Mercedes Martinez versus Io Shirai for the women's title. Really glad Io retained, and as you mentioned, her defending it on WrestleMania card would also be good. Here's to hoping. But before we move on, who do you think's her next challenger?
Let's see. Thinking about the women's division, we saw 4 women fight for a shot at the tag titles. What about Xia Li?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe have Xia Li challenge now, especially because they've slowly been building her up. Yeah. I was thinking maybe if they don't keep, even though I would hope they keep Ember and Shotzi as a team, just because it seems like they work really well and they need women's tag teams. You could run Shotzi versus Io again, but this time for the title.
Yeah.
You could maybe even throw Moon at her. Technically, if you want to go with the story, but again, she's going to be busy with the women's tag titles, but I have a feeling sooner or later Raquel's going to want to come after her after War Games.
Yeah. They definitely put her on a certain path, yeah. But as far as Io and the NXT Women's Championship and that roster, Candice got a shot very recently. You know, she's like the next really high-profile female wrestler that comes to mind.
When I asked my dad about who he wants Io to drop it to, he said, no one. Let her defend it a couple more times and then pull an Asuka and just surrender it so that she doesn't lose.
Yeah. I mean, I'll see his prediction or his desire there and raise him. I don't even want her to move.
Yeah, that's definitely me too. Is that I don't want her to move off NXT.
No, yeah, I'd rather take somebody from the main roster and bring them down to challenge Io. Not Bianca Belair. She's got a very established storyline.
Yeah,
she's playing out there.
Yeah,
but we've got 2 champions who successfully defended their title tonight. Will we hit a three-peat? Is Finn Balor going to successfully defend his NXT Heavyweight Championship against the challenger, Pete Dunne, the Bruiserweight?
I didn't notice until they brought it up, which again, credits to NXT for their story building. This is the first time ever that this match has happened, apparently.
It's funny that you bring up their story building. And they're, for the most part, I think relatively superior to Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
But going into this match, I found myself wanting more of a story. Because what I've got so far is a whole lot of stare downs. Yeah. And Finn gets jumped a few times. He gets jumped a lot.
I felt like the small little promo, before the match, kind of built it up a bit. I felt it built it up a bit more. But again, I think this is also another issue with NXT is that they kind of don't make the stories as clear. Because it took a bit of it took a sort of breakdown I saw for me to get the true story of this match, and of course it was more of a breakdown of the promo before to really show it. But it was kind of, they were kind of explaining it as Balor was kind of still kind of is known as the face of wrestling out of the United Kingdom, or at least he's the most popular, and Dunn feels like he should be the one that more properly represents that, especially seeing as how long he was out in the UK wrestling. And so it seemed like it was a thing more of not really respect, but Dunn feeling like he was more deserving of that
distinction.
That distinction of being the most well known and
I would say that the folks that put these pre-match promos together were doing as much retcon as Wade Barrett was in his commentary during the women's match. They're really making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
But it's funny how, it's funny because Pete Dunne says, Finn Balor, he's the guy that everyone talks about in the UK. And you go, I kind of think that's Walter, actually.
Yeah. That's what I was like.
Is it Finn?
Like, that's when I was saying, you know, when I heard people explaining, you know, that, oh, he's jealous, essentially jealous because Balor's known as the face of United Kingdom Wrestling. I was like, can you really say that? I was like, like, I don't remember Balor doing that much United Kingdom Wrestling compared to his wrestling out in Japan and now the States.
Right. I was like, are you talking about Zack Sabre Jr., maybe?
Yeah.
The Rev Pro champion?
I was like, I would know more of Zack Sabre Jr. and Walter and, you know, the guys out in the UK like Dunn, Bate, and Seven as like the people that were building up United Kingdom Wrestling. Not Balor.
You know, like, or how about McIntyre? Does McIntyre count? He's a pretty big deal. Yeah.
And it's like, and technically you could throw McIntyre because like that's where he did most of his work to rebuild himself, was out in the States. It's like when you mention Balor, most people will say, oh, his time in New Japan and then NXT and WWE's main roster. I don't really hear people bringing up, oh, Balor being in like any of the UK like promotions. So
yeah. I just want to keep bringing up wrestlers that Pete Dunne should also have a chip on his shoulder about, like Wade Barrett and Sheamus.
Yeah, it's like, are you sure your beef is with Balor here? I think your beef would more so be with a lot of the other guys.
I think our beef was with even NXT creative for grasping at straws to make this match make sense for why it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Jack. I love Finn Balor, and I love a good technical match. And we saw Finn Balor have a really technical match with Kyle O'Reilly in October. And as far as I'm concerned, last night's match with Pete Dunne was a similar affair. I go, gosh, I'm not even sure what the biggest difference is between these two meetings.
Yeah.
It was Kyle O'Reilly Part 3.
Yeah. That's what it kind of felt like. Because, like, I really enjoyed the match, but, like, there was something, like, when watching it that I was like, like, why am I not that invested in? Like, again, it's the lack of, like, true storytelling from NXT. But also, it was like, yeah, it feels like a repeat of a match I've seen with Balor. You know, it's
and
still
you know
good.
What, too? You know, I'm going to say something that, you know, people could take either way. I don't like Pete Dunne's joint manipulation baloney. You know, like,
yeah, it's
WWE joint manipulation baloney, and I don't believe Finn Balor's fingers are really broken.
Yeah, no matter how. It sucks that this is just an audio podcast, but for the people that are, like, I'm gonna try my best to describe this. Mr. Solis can obviously see it, but at the end when Balor goes,
you don't even have to say it. I know what you're gonna say.
Balor usually does handgun symbols at the camera at the end, but this time he just kind of shows bent fingers, trying to show that my fingers are broken from.
He's kind of doing like, you know,
like a claw.
Godfather with an orange peel in his hand, claws. You know, I mean, you know, I don't know how easy it is to recuperate from broken fingers, but I kind of wish he just broke his fingers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was so important to the match. It was too great a leap for me to make, in my disbelief.
Yeah. It's like there's some things that can get you up into that level of disbelief, but there's something about like the joint manipulation that, like, it's too far into disbelief to make you actually be in disbelief of it. Mm-hmm. Like when you see a lot of like different moves, it's like, yeah, they can convince you that it's real. Like,
and you know, compare that to October when Kyle O'Reilly broke that man's jaw, and he was wrestling with a broken jaw. And I go, God, I don't even know what a broke. How could I have ever known his jaw was broken until after the night? Yeah. You know. So here I'm supposed to believe, yep, oh no, I can't text for a minute. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, but...
And so I'm holding my breath. I think Pat McAfee's going to come out and be obnoxious. Maybe even cost Balor the match, you know? Because whoever comes out of this, you wonder what's next for that guy, and it's probably going to happen real soon around the biggest event of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could it have been Pete? If it was Pete Dunne, it would probably run back Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor, which is like fine.
Yeah.
I was definitely rooting for Balor.
Yeah, same. Because again, like, it's just such a weird time for any of the champions to really lose. Like you could kind of get away with a North American champion loss here, or like maybe a tag title loss or something like that. But
yeah,
with the women's and men's one, it's like it just feels too awkward of a time for one of them to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But so
remember when Eddie Guerrero beat Brock Lesnar at No Way Out in February? Hey, you're wearing an Eddie Guerrero shirt.
Yeah, so for the listeners at home, I am wearing a shirt of Eddie Guerrero that my mom had gotten me for Christmas. She had me pick out a shirt on WWE Shop, and the moment I saw this, I got it. And today I saw it was like, on this day back in 2004, Eddie beat Brock for the title. And so when we came to do this podcast, I was originally wearing another shirt. I was like, let me throw on the Eddie shirt for this episode.
I know it's 2004. I was a senior in high school for WrestleMania 20. But I brought that up because Eddie won the title, defended it at WrestleMania. Lesnar, who lost the title, went into that match with Goldberg. And there was a ton of story behind that, a ton of hype that didn't need the title. Yeah. You know? So you think Gargano could have definitely lost his title tonight. He could have definitely gone into some story with, like, Dexter Lumis. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Io Shirai could have lost it. Now it's a tougher argument because who would she go into a story match with? Yeah. And so here we're at a real crossroads. Finn Balor, he's a tough champ who's only really defended it once in 6 months. Yeah. And he beats Pete Dunne. Mm-hmm. I really like that last sequence. He rips the mouth guard out of Pete Dunne's mouth and kicks him square in the face. And then hits the coup de grace. And then, you know what I like too? So there was a lot to like about these matches. Booking aside. He hits the coup de grace. And you almost catch him thinking, shoot, I didn't cover him fast enough, so I have to do another move if I'm going to put him away. You can almost see him expect, he's going to kick out because it took me too long to recover from that. So he hits him with the 19-something.
1916.
1916. One-handed for the win.
Yeah. So Balor retains, giving him another defense under. And at this point, I was like, okay, so are they going to throw Cross at him now? Like that's
what though? Cross is busy this Thursday. Really excited. He's going to destroy Santos Escobar. That guy has spent half a year establishing that cruiserweight title into something that's respectable, right? But he's going to get eaten alive.
Yeah. Oh man, the moment I saw them booking that match, I was like, well, this is gonna be. I like the headcanon in me is that he's gonna get beaten by Cross so bad that whoever challenges him next is gonna take that title off of him.
I was in utter disbelief when he went out there talking about why he was the strongest champion, and he called out Cross for going down with that injury.
Yeah.
I was like, this is such an incredible move. He talks a lot about building up that title, and I thought that promo did so much build compared to like all of his matches. I was like, he's the most consistent champion of them currently.
Yeah.
And Cross heard him, and he said, keep my name out your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, man.
He's going to beat him so bad, he's going to wear that mask to hide the harm that man's going to cause.
The moment I heard him bring up his name, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, Cross is coming after him. There's no way they let him slide with that.
That's a good story. I mean, it's an easy story to tell.
Yeah,
I like Scarlett kind of doing his negotiating with Regal, and she's like, I'm here because if he's here, it's bad. It's just bad if he's doing this for himself.
I'm waiting. I'm hoping things clear up soon because I'm still waiting for Devlin versus Escobar to see who's the true cruiserweight champion.
Speaking of UK crossover, when's Balor Walter going to happen? That's got to happen.
That's got to happen soon.
That's got to happen.
Especially because after Walter beat A-Kid and he's beaten Ilya,